Hello, hello, testing, testing. Is this thing on? Oh, hey everyone, how's it going? Dr. Ironbat Prime 2.0, aka Noah, back again with this new video of mine. And this is a bit of a quickie tutorial, but this is a tutorial on how I made Alastor'S staff slash his cane from, well, the series Hazbin Hotel. Just to clarify, Alastor is up there being like one of my favorite characters in the world of Hazbin Hotel. I mean, love the story arc, love the character, and I think having his staff slash his radio cane is just an iconic prop to have. So I thought it'd be fun, cool to make his, well, to just make it. Because I will admit, I really want to get this video out there in time for Hazbin Hotel Season 2, and it's still up there being like one of my favorite shows. So I thought it'd be fun and cool to just make this, because, again, it's a fun prop. This is a quickie tutorial, and I will admit, there are a dozen ways of how you can make this thing. Like, you could 3D print it, you could just buy the thing on, like, online on, like, Amazon or eBay. Yeah, but imagine you're on a budget, and you just want to get creative and just make the prop yourself. And the prop I made is very much just like the show, only it's my own version, and I pretty much use supplies I got from, well, Home Depot and also Hobby Lobby. So yeah, and making this took me, I will admit, I was very patient with letting the paint dry and just cutting things up here and there. So making this took me like nearly a week. So that's just my best answer and way of saying it, but this turned out really good, and I'm going to go through step by step of how I made this prop. So let's get in your supplies and see, well, how I made this. So first off, I started off with a piece of PVC pipe that measured up to like around 7 feet, but it was just a matter of cutting up a bit here and there just to, well, just make sure it was, goes right down to like to my chest area, of course. And I will admit, having PVC pipe is very handy when it comes to making props. It's always fun to have that and use that for making props. I mean, I've used it several times in the past for like my Cat Noir staff, my Robin staff, my Nightwing Eskrima sticks, and several other props that I've made here and there. And hey, it's very handy to have. So that's what the whole stick area is. And it was just a matter of spray painting it with some, well, black primer. Actually, first thing I did was sand it down to, well, where you can't see any of the numbers, lines, because that's what PVC pipes do have. And then that was when I went in with a black primer. And then I clear coated this thing with a matte sealer. It was a matte sealer that I used to just make sure that, well, that would just stay black. And for in the end, I just used just an end cap. And this is just simple and easy that you could get at Home Depot and or Lowe's. First thing I did was just sand down the numbers right here and letters, and then just spray painted it with the primer and then a red Rust-Oleum, and then matte sealed this thing. So yeah, there's a lot of spray paints when it comes to doing this part, but after all that, which took like 2 days to do, I just glued it down right here with some Loctite glue, and that's this part, and that's, well, the whole just stick area of the staff. But yeah, that's this whole part. Now, I did also have a connector piece right here that I also got from Home Depot. Same goes for this other piece of PVC pipe that's actually, well, inside the radio slash the microphone bit right here. But yeah, there's this as well. So, but also, if you're wondering what I did for the ring right here, this is actually more of like pieces of foam that I cut up here and there. And he does have this in the show, and it was just a matter of, well, cutting up some circles and just some rings around it and just measuring around of how long I want it to be. And then that was when I went in with a red plasti dip to just plasti dip it red, and then I just clear coated it to just stay there. And then I just glued it down to, well, to the end cap, which was right here with some Loctite glue. And yeah, that's how I did this area right here. And but yeah, I mean, he does have this in the show. And as for this area right here, the top of the cane slash the microphone area, I will admit, this was tricky. I will admit, this was probably the most challenging and most time consuming part of making this prop, but I got there in the end. So first thing I did acquire was getting a styrofoam egg that I got at Hobby Lobby, and it was just a matter of cutting it in half. And then I did some measuring of like how I wanted the shape to look like. So kind of sort of like a diamond, kind of sort of. I mean, I just cut it down right through here. I was using an X-Acto knife and a couple other different kind of knives just to make sure I got it straight and, well, the way I want it to be, the way I want it to be shaped, because it's like this in the show. And then that was when I started covering it up with some red craft foam that I got from Hobby Lobby as well. And then after I covered the whole thing up, that was when I just went with the red Rust-Oleum to make sure it just stays a brighter red. So yeah, and I will admit, it was just a matter of wrapping it up. And I know it does look a bit noticeable right here, but, well, it was just a bit hard and tricky to just, well, I just didn't want any lines showing, and it was a bit tricky to just cover the whole thing up, but, maybe I might make another version, but I am happy with what I got right here. And then, same as for this area, well, that was when I got creative, and I will admit, probably my favorite part, because I wanted this bit to be just like the series itself. Because if you've seen the pilots, the microphone area parts of Alastor'S cane is pretty much, well, red all over with some bits of black. So I actually went for the version I was just like in the show, because that's just the version I start to connect with and like a bit more. I mean, don't get me wrong, the pilot version is great, it's fantastic, it's the blueprint to the series itself. But this part, well, how I did this part, right here in this area, I actually went with some with a black wash just to darken it a bit with a darker red. And then this whole area, which is like probably the microphone part, which is pretty much the microphone part, it was just a matter of cutting up 3 different colors of EVA craft foam, and I just, well, cut it up pieces and then just puzzled it all together. And then I just glued down, it was just a matter of using a little bit of Loctite, but also with some contact cement. I just want to make sure it just permanently stays there, and just so it bonds a lot faster. So yeah, using 2 different glues at the same time, it was just a matter of doing that. And then I just connected, well, the whole thing to this other piece of PVC pipe, just to make sure it's a lot more secured, locked in. And I did go in with some Gorilla Glue on the inside, and some of it did, well, just drop out a bit. It was just a matter of, well, cutting it down a bit. And I did try to cover it up with a little bit of, like, it's hard to see, but I went in with a Mall Master black paint all over this area, but it was just a matter of doing that as well. Oh, but also I just went, as for the eyeball right here, which is definitely part of, well, of the cane itself, it was just a matter of, well, just using a black Sharpie and just adding that bit. So simple, easy, and yeah. And I will admit, again, this whole thing took me like almost a week to put together. And again, I wanted to get this video out there in time for Hazbin Hotel Season 2. So just to show you in a more up-close way, here it is. Again, I mean, this part may have been the trickiest bit, but, well, wrapping the whole thing up with the foam could be a bit tricky. And again, I just glued it down with some contact cement, just making sure it stays flat and it stays there. I will admit, yes, it does look a bit lumpy, but maybe this is pretty much my first one. Who knows, I might make a version 2. And yeah, just to show you what it looks like going up. And yeah, this thing, yeah, it is a long thing. But again, I want this thing to be like, well, to be like around my height. But yeah, that's how I made the staff or his cane. So yeah, now I am looking forward to the next season of Hazbin Hotel. And again, Alastor is up there being one of my favorite characters. And I am going to be doing an Alastor cosplay, yeah, later on in the future. It's probably not going to happen till like around like 2026, so sometime next year. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for that.
The game is set. Now, stay tuned.
I just had to. I wanted to. So sorry, not sorry. So that about wraps up my tutorial. Again, this may have been a quickie tutorial, and it's a lot more different than other tutorials I've done in the past, but hey, this is just my way of how I made Alastor'S cane. And again, I wanted to do, well, this version from, well, the series, of course. I mean, if you want to do the version from, like, the pilot that came out 6 years ago, hey, you do you. I mean, whatever version you want to make, go for it, and I'd love to see how it turned out. But yeah, that's just my way of how I made this, how I made it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys liked this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. And hey, I mean, I hope you are all able to make your own version of Alastor'S stuff. I mean, again, there's like a dozen other ways of how you can make this thing, but it's just my way. Yeah, and I like how it turned out. I might do a version 2 later on, but again, stay tuned for my next video. So don't forget, and follow me on all my social media. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Twitter. All my social media is just right here. I just might follow you guys right back at you. But also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by hitting subscribe right down there, along with hitting the bell down there, so that way you guys are notified for my next video. And also, don't forget to comment below. I'm always reading the comments, and hit the thumbs up. That is very supportive. That would be very helpful. I would love it if you guys did that. But until next time, this is Alastor the Radio Demon coming to you live, and stay tuned for my next video. That's my best Alastor impression, but stay tuned for what's next from the Has Been Hotel.